Hello, I'm Andy Protheroe from PCR Global. Welcome to one of our videos on real risk management, what we call in the Ground Truth series. Why is it real risk management? Because this is real, this is what we do. We do it on a day-to-day basis. We talk about it in the classroom, but we also audit people on the ground, whether that's second-party audits or we work alongside a company called PEME Global, where I do my international audits. But certainly for PCR Global, we do our audits in the UK as well. Predominantly, a lot of our audits lately have been second-party supply chain audits, which is really important. So the purpose of the video is to discuss one of our approaches. I uploaded a video not that long ago and I had some great feedback, and people said it's always interesting to see how consultancy actually operate on the ground. And we aren't a consultancy who come and drop a folder of documents off. We do get involved. We have a background of protecting people, of protecting businesses. We are genuinely in this to keep people safe and to make businesses as effective and efficient as they can be, because there is a big difference between effective, I should say, and efficient. So what approach did I want to talk about? This is an approach really sort of close to my heart. It's a mnemonic. I am an ex-infantryman, so I grew up on remembering mnemonics. And this mnemonic is PEME: people, equipment, materials, and environment. There's 4 elements to this mnemonic. Why use a mnemonic? It gives us a framework. It gives us something to work off. It keeps us on the page. When you're doing consulting on the ground, it is your grab bag. For those of you who have done close protection, for those of you who are or work on construction sites, you have your bag of tools. So what are these tools? In the consultancy world, it's very easy to forget your bag of tools, and that is not to be able to discuss things on the ground when you're faced with 1, the client, 2, the guys and girls working, or 3, the HSE or regulatory authorities. Your bag of tools, your bag of tricks is up here. This is your grab bag, and over the years you build up and you put various items in there, so it's always there when you call on it, and it's a valuable thing to do, to have those frameworks. So I like to operate from frameworks. Is certainly what I teach our guys, and it's what we do on the ground. So let's talk about PEME. We haven't made it up. It's world renowned. It's well known in the world of safety, and by following that mnemonic as you go through, it will help you, as I say, to keep on the page. So let's look at it. So people. So when I do it, I start from the top down. First of all, I'm going to swap between health, safety, security, environment, quality, and human resources, which is what PCR Global is all about. But I start from the top down first. People, the person. So if you imagine a person, you can see their brain. Well, you can't see their brain, it's in their head, but you start from the top down. You start thinking about their brain, and immediately then you're thinking of competence. How competent is this person? Competence, as the HSE tells us, is skills, knowledge, ability, training, and experience. Skate. It is not qualifications. I am a well-qualified individual, and some people think I'm a badge collector, I should imagine, but it's not about that. I have my own personal reasons for being so dedicated to study, but that's maybe for another video, who knows. But people, you start from the top, competence. Then once you're thinking about the skills and ability, you can quite easily then switch over to health as opposed to safety. You're then thinking of health. We got the eyes, we got the ears, we got the respiratory system. We can start thinking about, do these people have any pre-existing conditions that the organisation needs to be aware of? We can jump straight into security as well on the P. What is this person's perception? Are they an insider threat? Are they intent on malevolence? So the only thing separating security and safety, we get told, is the malevolent act. So when we're working with P, we can concentrate on security as well, not just safety. We can swap over to HR. So P, psychological safety. How well, is the individual looked after? I done an upload not long ago on the 6 management standards for stress. So how stressed is this individual? If this individual is stressed, then he could be making mistakes. If this individual is under pressure, then he could quite easily rebel against the organisation, and you don't have then the very important discretionary effort. Again, we'll do another video on discretionary effort because that's critical. So people, and there's many things we can talk about people. Equipment. Let's have a look at equipment. In the health and safety environment, we're going to be thinking tools, of course. We're going to be thinking skips, mixers. If we're talking gin wheels, ladders, there's so much. But if we're talking about in the security environment, we're going to be talking potentially weapons, predominantly firearms if you're working abroad, or it could just be P24s, your batons, depend in which country you're working on. But that equipment that goes with that team that you're auditing, again, it could be smoke hoods, it could be anything. But what you got to think about equipment, you got to think about maintenance, because that's going to fall under health and safety law no matter which country you're in. Maintenance inspection. Who is doing the maintenance? Is the equipment fit for purpose? I remember picking up a company for having smoke hoods, and I'd worked for them for a while. They weren't even smoke hoods, but a lot of money had been spent on smoke hoods for the people we were looking after, and they were no good in an oxidant deficient environment, which came through me doing a fire risk assessment. Equipment, we could talk for a long time, but once you know what there is to look for, you will look for it, and it boils down to competence, a lot of it, on the equipment. Have they been trained? You're then going back up into people even. People, equipment. Then number 3, materials. If you're in an engineering company, you're thinking about your oils, your lubricants, and these materials then are going back up to the P, to the person, to breathing in, to the skin, to dermatitis. What are we breathing in? What are we at risk when we're thinking more sort of COSH, substances hazardous to health? Are people going to get dermatitis, skin conditions? Are they going to get respiratory conditions, alveolitis? From breathing in mists? That's an engineering company. Then we jump across, we can, to the construction industry. We've got your sands, we've got your silicas, we've got your dusts, all of which we know pretty bad, and you wouldn't get away with this if you were wearing a face mask, a tight-fitting face mask, I should say. So maybe another video there. But materials in a security environment, what we're talking about, again, it could be oils. If you are obviously oiling weapons, materials, there's a lot to think about in each and every industry, but it is about sitting back, going through the mnemonic: people, equipment, materials, and then it leads us on to E, the environment. The environment is so important. I'm lucky at the moment. I'm obviously sat up on a Welsh mountain, but the environment covers a multitude of areas that can go wrong, which require control measures. So if we're thinking safety or security, we're always thinking access. What is the access points? What are the egress points? If we're in security, we need it for a getaway. But if we're obviously in safety and emergency procedures, we need to know how to get in and out of that location or get up onto that roof, up onto that area. So access and egress is always so important for the environment. Obviously, with the environment, you've got the weather systems. What is the weather like? That then leads back into the equipment and then back into people and the training and the risk assessments. In a security standpoint, we're going to think of the environment. Is it a hostile environment? Is it a benign environment? Are we now looking at threats as opposed to just your average risks, and hazards? Because threats, there's an intent, there's a malicious intent. So are we going to be doing our vulnerability assessments? So the environment really does have a big impact on where you're operating. So that's people, equipment, materials, environment. Having that understanding, that framework, we can link it into other mnemonics that we've talked about. But also in your exams, in your study, in your training. So let's think the NEBOSH. When I sat my NEBOSH diploma and my certificate exams, you're thinking of PEME when you're writing you're laying out your answer plan. When you're writing your assignments, if you're doing a higher level study, have that in your head: people, equipment, materials, environments. But importantly, when you're consulting, when you're talking to clients, when I'm looking at a client, I'm thinking outside of the box. I'm thinking of conversation areas. I'm thinking of hazards, risks, threats, and I'm linking them all back to PEME. I could go on with this. It's such a good mnemonic to have in your mind. Mnemonics are easy to remember. It does make a difference when you're on the ground. You haven't always got checklists. You might go somewhere with an audit checklist or a survey or something somebody else has written for you. But let's be honest, when you get out with that vehicle, when you're talking to those people, you're on your own. And that's when you need all the knowledge up here from your grab bag that you've built. This is your grab bag that you've built up over the years, because we need to be out there protecting people, protecting companies, especially at the moment. looking to get them from effective or too effective. They're not effective, but if they are effective, too efficient. So that's it really. I hope you've enjoyed that. It was going to be a short video, but that was 10 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. It's so important. So one last thing for me, stay safe, stay healthy, stay productive. Don't trust it, always test it. Thank you for watching.